It's not like we're making money here anyway. No sweat off our back. Now, the funniest part of this update, sources said there is a sense a there is a sense a WNBA player picket line could be the next move, possibly as soon as next week at the site of the NBA All-Star Game in Los Angeles. I'm going to tell you right now, I hope this isn't just figuratively. I hope there's actual WNBA players.
That reaction right there tells you everything you need to know about where this negotiation stands. The WNBA owners just responded to the Players Union after a 6-week silence, and they essentially sent back the same proposal the players already rejected. 15% revenue share, not a penny more. And now the players are threatening to do something that could backfire spectacularly. Picketing at NBA All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles. This isn't just another labor dispute. This is a collision course between players who think the Caitlin Clark effect entitles them to NBA-level money and owners who are looking at their actual balance sheets and saying not so fast.
But I have some rules, players, fans. I have some rules. The chants, you guys better have some unique chants. You better have some unique chants. You better get into some solid formations, some nice songs, some nice hymns, some real structure to this picket line. I want to be fed content of things that you do that I can laugh at. Let's get straight into the article. Please like the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. Sources: WNBA's latest revenue share offer doesn't exceed 15%. Back to that pick.
Let's break down what actually happened here. The WNBA Players Association submitted their proposal back in early January, asking for 30% of league revenue and a salary cap exceeding $10 million. That's double what the league was offering. The owners went radio silent for 6 weeks. 6 full weeks of nothing. And when they finally responded on Friday night, according to Sports Business Journal, their offer didn't exceed 15% revenue share. The players waited a month and a half for the owners to essentially tell them no. And here's what makes this fascinating. The owners aren't panicking. They're not scrambling to avoid a work stoppage. They're playing hardball because they know something the players don't want to admit. The league still isn't profitable. Even with all the Caitlin Clark hype, even with the record ratings, the WNBA loses money. And you can't split revenue that doesn't exist.
Line, hey, Kathy, if you want somebody to go and cover this and just clown on, I'm willing to bargain, Kathy. Send some bread my way and I'll see what I can do. The WNBA's latest collective bargaining proposal, submitted to the Players Union Friday night, did not include a revenue share split beyond 15%. The Players Association had waited almost 6 weeks for a WNBA reply to its request for a 30% share of league and team revenue and a $10 million plus salary cap. Although it was believed the league had previously offered 15%, sources told Sports Business Journal it was always less than 50%, and that Friday.
Now, here's where this gets entertaining. Sources are saying the Players Union is seriously considering a picket line at the NBA All-Star Game festivities next week in Los Angeles. Actual WNBA players with signs marching outside one of the biggest basketball events of the year. And the content creator in me is praying this happens because nothing would be funnier than watching this play out. But let's think about the optics here for a second. The NBA All-Star Weekend draws massive crowds, international media attention, and generates hundreds of millions in revenue. The WNBA players showing up to protest during that event is essentially admitting they need the NBA's spotlight to be seen. They're not picketing outside WNBA headquarters or league offices. They're crashing someone else's party to get attention. That's not a power move. That's desperation.
All-Star Game in Los Angeles. Putting aside how funny that would be, WNBA players, this is going to be another PR stunt for you. I'm sure Fox News is going to pick it up, CNN is going to pick it up, NBC, MSNBC, News Nation, ESPN, Fox Sports, USA Today. After being ignored for the last 4 months in the public eye, you guys are finally going to be back talked about again. You know what? All publicity is good publicity, right? That's what the UCLA head coach said.
Let's talk about what the players are actually asking for here. 30% revenue share sounds reasonable until you look at the math. The WNBA's new media rights deal with Disney, Amazon, and NBC is worth $2.2 billion over 11 years. That's $200 million per year. 30% of that would be $60 million annually just for player salaries before you factor in team revenues, which vary wildly by market. But here's the problem: that media rights money has to cover league operations, team expenses, travel, facilities, marketing, and yes, the losses that most teams are still running. The Indiana Fever might be profitable now thanks to Caitlin Clark selling out arenas, but the Dallas Wings aren't. The Atlanta Dream aren't. Half the league is still operating in the red, so when players demand 30% of revenue, they're demanding 30% of money that's already spoken for just to keep the lights on. The NBA players get 50% because the NBA generates $9 billion in revenue annually and has been profitable for decades. The WNBA is not the NBA, and pretending otherwise doesn't change the balance sheet.
Just don't care. They're going to do their own strike. We're aware. We just don't care. We are aware. We just don't care. Send me my royalties in the mail. Last week, the union posted an Instagram story about a near-player strike at the 1964 NBA All-Star Game, leading to speculation in league circles that the WNBA players were also close to striking themselves. Oh, some more Instagram posts from the Players Union. How intimidating. The Players Association back on Instagram. These... I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Back on Instagram they are. Oh, interesting.
Here's what makes this negotiation so awkward. Breanna Stewart, one of the faces of the league, basically admitted the quiet part out loud in that clip. She said the top 10 to 15 players can survive without a WNBA contract, but the rest of the roster can't afford to miss paychecks. That's the leverage problem the union has. The stars can play overseas, make money from Unrivaled, and wait this out. But the role players making $70,000 a year, they need that WNBA check. They can't strike for months. So when the union talks about player solidarity and everyone being willing to sit out, that's not actually true. The economic reality is that most of the roster can't afford a prolonged work stoppage. The owners know this. The union knows the owners know this. And that's why the owners are comfortable playing hardball with a 15% offer. They're calling the bluff. And here's the other thing Stewart said that's important. The Players Association is making sure they have amenities and resources if they strike. Translation: the union is setting up some kind of strike fund or financial support system because they know most players can't go without income. That's not a position of strength. That's preparing for a battle you're not sure you can win.
Now, there's a little bit of a teaser that Breanna Stewart had. I know a secret, and I can't wait to tell y'all. What's the secret, Bree Stu? What's the secret, Bree Stu? You got something cooking? Huh? You got something cooking? Unrivaled, maybe going to 5v5? Who knows? I was talking to Rhodes, Black and White Sports. Salute to Rhodes. He floated the idea, maybe an Unrivaled and Athletes Unlimited merger. But Athletes Unlimited streams through the WNBA app as well. So I'm not sure how easy it would be for the Athletes Unlimited to separate from the WNBA app, separate from the Disney conglomerate, and partner up with Unrivaled without running it by a few people.
Now let's address the elephant in the room. What happens if the players actually strike? What if they refuse to play and the 2026 season is delayed or canceled? The honest answer is the league would take a hit, but it probably wouldn't be catastrophic for the owners. Most WNBA teams are owned by NBA franchises or billionaires who bought in as a long-term investment. They're not depending on WNBA revenue to pay their mortgages. A missed season hurts, but it's not existential for them. For the players, though, a canceled season is devastating. That's a year of prime career earnings gone. For someone like Caitlin Clark, who's 23 and just starting her peak earning years, missing a season costs her millions in salary and endorsement momentum. For a 32-year-old veteran on the back end of her career, a lost season might mean retirement. The players have way more to lose in a work stoppage than the owners do. And here's the PR problem the players aren't considering. If they strike and the season gets canceled, casual fans aren't going to blame the owners. They're going to blame the players for being greedy. Fair or not, that's how it'll play in the media. The narrative will be that WNBA players turned down millions of dollars and tanked their own league because they wanted NBA money they didn't earn.
If there is a picket line, it would do damage to this league. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. See you next time, and as always, take it easy.
This whole situation reveals a fundamental disconnect between what the players think they're worth and what the market is actually willing to pay. The Caitlin Clark effect was real. She drove record ratings, sold out arenas, and generated mainstream attention the WNBA has never seen before. But one superstar having a transformative rookie season doesn't mean the entire league's economics changed overnight. It means one team got really popular really fast, and the league got a temporary ratings boost. The question is whether that's sustainable. Does the WNBA maintain those Caitlin Clark ratings when she's not playing? Do fans keep showing up when the Fever aren't in town? The early evidence from this offseason suggests no. Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league that's supposed to be appointment television is streaming to tiny audiences. Nobody's talking about it. The hype died the second the WNBA season ended. That should terrify the players' union because it means the league's value is still dependent on a handful of stars, not the product itself. So here's where this is all heading. The players are going to make noise. Maybe picket at All-Star Weekend, generate some headlines, and try to put public pressure on the owners. The owners are going to sit tight, maybe bump their offer to 17 or 18%, and wait for the players to crack. Eventually, someone blinks, and my money is on the players blinking first, because they have to. They can't afford not to. The real tragedy here is that the Players Association is doing a terrible job representing their members. They waited 6 weeks for a response and got the same offer back. That means the strategy isn't working. Threatening to strike when you don't have the leverage to strike is just noise. And picketing at someone else's event to get attention is admitting you don't have enough power to command attention on your own. If the players were smart, they'd be negotiating behind closed doors, finding creative revenue-sharing structures that protect the owners from losses while giving players upside when the league actually turns a profit. They'd be focusing on things like better travel accommodations, improved healthcare, and longer-term guaranteed contracts. Those are winnable battles. Demanding 30% of revenue when the league isn't profitable, that's a losing fight. But instead, we're headed toward a public showdown that's going to make everyone look bad. The players are going to look entitled for demanding money the league doesn't have. The owners are going to look cheap for not giving the players a bigger piece of the pie after a record-breaking season. And the fans are going to be stuck in the middle wondering why their league can't get its act together. Here's the part that really frustrates me about this whole situation. The WNBA just had the best season in its history. Caitlin Clark brought mainstream attention, record ratings, sold-out arenas, and genuine cultural relevance. This should be a moment of celebration and momentum. Instead, it's turning into a labor war that could torpedo all that goodwill. Think about the timing. The league is negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement, right as it's getting more popular than ever. This is when you want stability, not chaos. This is when you want players and owners presenting a united front to sponsors, media partners, and fans. Instead, we're getting threats of strikes and picket lines. That's how you kill momentum. And the saddest part is that both sides have legitimate points. The players are right that they deserve a bigger share of the revenue they're generating. Caitlin Clark is selling tickets, driving ratings, and making the league more valuable. She and other stars should be compensated accordingly. But the owners are also right that you can't pay out money the league doesn't have yet. The new media deal is great, but it doesn't erase decades of loss. Someone has to pay for those losses, and it's not going to be the players. The solution here is obvious: tie player compensation to league profitability. Give the players a base revenue share of 15 or 17%, then add performance escalators. If the league hits certain revenue targets, the players' share increases. If attendance grows by a certain percentage, they get bonuses. If playoff ratings exceed projections, they get a bigger cut. That way, players benefit when the league succeeds, but owners aren't locked into paying out money they don't have during down years. But that requires both sides to be reasonable and creative. And right now, it feels like everyone's dug into their positions, and nobody wants to be the first to compromise. The players' union thinks they have leverage because of the Caitlin Clark hype. The owners think they have leverage because the league still loses money, and neither side wants to admit the other has a point. So we're probably headed for a work stoppage. Maybe not a full strike, but at least a delayed start to the season while they hammer out a deal. And that's going to cost everyone money, goodwill, and momentum. The players will lose game check, the owners will lose ticket sales and sponsorship revenue, and the fans will lose interest because there's nothing more boring than watching millionaires and billionaires fight over money. Here's my prediction. The players picket at All-Star Weekend, get some media coverage, generate some social media buzz, and then nothing happens. The owners don't budge. The players realize they don't have the leverage they thought they had, and eventually they settle for something close to the owner's current offer, maybe with a few face-saving concessions, like better travel or healthcare. The players will claim victory, the owners will claim victory, and everyone will pretend this was a productive negotiation instead of a months-long standoff that accomplished nothing. And the real losers will be the fans who just wanted to watch basketball. Because while the players and owners are fighting over revenue shares and salary caps, the league is bleeding momentum. The Caitlin Clark hype is fading. Casual fans are moving on to other sports, and the window to capitalize on the best season in WNBA history is closing fast. So here's my question for you. If you were running the players' union, what would you do differently? Would you take the owner's offer and focus on growing the league, or would you hold out for more money even if it means risking a work stoppage? And if you're a WNBA fan, does this labor dispute change how you feel about the league? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.